Good morning students of class 7B. Today we are going to start the new chapter, the Constitution of India, that is civics. Okay. So today we are going to learn about what is Constitution and Constituent Assembly and framing of the Constitution. Okay. So let's begin with the first topic of this chapter. What is Constitution? Dear students, in earlier times, people were ruled by the kings, and whatever the kings used to say, the people had to follow. Okay? It means the words of rulers, kings, were the rules, or we can say laws. The wishes of the rulers or kings were actually the rules and laws at those times. So there were no any particular constitution, that is a set of rules, okay, by which people could be governed at that time. Suppose the rulers change, the rules and laws also changed. Yes, so there was not any specific constitution rules by which the people can be governed at that time. Okay, these were the circumstances in earlier times, and rulers made laws, rules at those times which favored the strong people in the society. Yes, and the masses, the common people, suffered a lot. There was discrimination, we can say, in the laws that was made for the people. Yes, that's why there was a need of uniform rules and laws which can be applied for every person. Every person, either rich or poor, they must be treated with the same rules and laws. Yes, and that's why in latter times the constitution was framed, it was made. Yes, so by this discussion we can understand that due to the problems of earlier times, people needed a particular constitution that is applied for everyone. Yes, so in this way, due to the necessity of the people of uniform laws, we made constitution. So what is constitution? So constitution is a set of rules or laws by which a country is governed or any organization is governed. Yes, to rule over the country, to govern the country, we need some specific rules and laws, and by which a country is administered. Yes, so constitution was a set of rules by which a country or an organization can be governed. Our school is also an organization. There are many organizations in the country, in the world. So not only the country, the organization can also make some rules and laws by which all the members of the organization and all the people of all the citizens of the country are abide by those rules. Okay, and these rules are applied for everyone. Yes, so this is constitution, this is the definition of constitution. Okay, next thing, Constitution is actually the supreme law of the country. Supreme law of the country. It means that the government as well as people are obliged to follow the rules and laws which are written in the constitution. Okay, so above the government, above the people, there is a constitution by which we all are bound to follow it, and that's why we can say that constitution is the supreme law of the country. Yes, we all know that the government has three organs: legislature, that is responsible for making laws; executive, the laws made by a legislature can be implemented by executives. Yes, and judiciary, like court, this one is the third organ of the government. So by these three organs, government performs its duty. Yes, and the legislature, executive and judiciary, all these organs have to follow the rules that is written in the constitution. Yes, so that's why we said that above the government there is constitution. Okay, so government has to follow the constitution, and we all people are also abide by it, because constitution also deals with the human rights and duties also. We are given 6 fundamental rights by the constitution, and we are also given some of the duties towards our nation, towards our society, okay, to follow it. So the people follow the duties, and as well as they also enjoy their rights. Okay, so in this way we can say that the constitution is the supreme law, and government as well as people are abide by it. Okay, now we are going to discuss that when constitution was adopted and when it came into force. So my dear students, our constitution, our Indian constitution was adopted on 26 November 1949, and it came into force on 26 January 1950. On 26 January 1950, it is very important. On this date and year, our constitution came into existence, we can say, and from then our country became a democratic republic. Yes, what is democratic republic? Just we said that on 26 January 1950 our country became the democratic republic. So democratic, we all know that there is equality in our country, there is freedom provided to every citizen of the country. So equality and freedom are two important features of democracy. So we all know that these are two fundamental rights of the citizen, and every democratic country provides these two things to every people. Okay, and we all know that democracy is rule of people. Earlier the kings used to rule over us, but nowadays we people rule ourselves. Okay, through our representatives. People rule by themselves, but not directly. We choose on the behalf of us our representatives, and on the behalf of us our representatives just run the government, applies the rules and laws written over in the constitution. Okay, so in this way we can say that we became democratic on this date. and how we became republic. So what is republic? So republic means if the head of the state, just take the example of our country, and the head of our country is the president. Okay, so if the head of the state of country, that is the president, yes, if he is or she is elected either directly or indirectly, but the main thing is what, that he must be an elected person. Yes, so we all know that we choose our president by indirect method. Okay, and hence we can say that our country is a republic. Yes, so in this way our country became democratic and republic on 26 January 1950. Yes, so in this way we have discussed about what were the provisions in earlier times, how people were governed in earlier times. We have discussed that just by the wishes of the rulers, by the words that were said by the rulers, these became the rules for the people, and by those words and rules of rulers, the people were governed. But later on we just changed this system, this political system. We brought in the world, in our country, democracy. Yes, and we made a constitution, that is a set of rules, and now the government that we choose in democracy, not at present time there are no rulers. Okay, so the government is the representatives of people, and who rule over us, or who runs the administration of the country, not by their wishes but according to the rules and laws that are written in the constitution. So that change came today. Yes, in earlier times just we saw, and what at present, how we present, at present we rule, how we rule over the country, how we run the government, how we run the administration, just we have discussed. So this difference, this change occurred at present time, and earlier time there was different things. Yes, so nowadays there is a constitution in every democratic country, we can say, and every democratic country is ruled by their constitution, not by the wishes of the rulers. Yes, and which is uniform, which is common, the rules are common for every kind of people within a country. Yes, earlier, in earlier times there were different rules for different kind of peoples, but nowadays there are same laws and rules for every kind of people. So that is the beauty of the constitution. Yes, now we are going to discuss about how this constitution was made, how this constitution was framed. So the next topic, Constituent Assembly and framing of the constitution. So Constituent Assembly actually framed, wrote the constitution of our country. So what is Constituent Assembly? It is actually a body which comprises many elected representatives. Yes, and these persons, these representatives of Constituent Assembly, actually collectively they framed a constitution for our country. Yes, so in this way we can say the Constituent Assembly, it was a body that has many representatives, and they by their combined effort they just made a constitution for us. Yes, but how this constituent assembly was formed, how this body was elected, we are going to discuss this story. Actually, what happened in 1945, the Britishers sent a cabinet mission to India. Yes, in 1945. Why we call it cabinet mission? Because there were three ministers of cabinet rank, and that's why it was called cabinet mission. Yes, and it was sent by the Britishers to look into the issues of administration of India. Yes, it proposed the this cabinet mission proposed that there would be a constituent assembly, and that constituent assembly would further frame a constitution for the India. Okay, so actually British wanted to give independence to India. It was the matter of 1945. At that time, the Britishers understood that now the Britishers cannot rule over India for a long time. So there was a need of a constitution by which any country is governed. So that's why the Britishers sent cabinet mission to form, which proposed the formation of constituent assembly, and it will further make a constitution for India. Okay. So in this way, the first time the election to the constituent assembly was held in July 1946. This date is very, very important. In July 1946, the elections were held to choose the representatives of the constituent assembly. As we have just discussed, that it was a body which comprises many representatives. So the election was conducted in our country, and people did not vote. People did not choose these representatives directly. Okay, actually there were many representatives in the provincial legislative council. Provincial means state. So at that time in states there was, we can say, legislative council, like parliament, we can say it was that, and the members of that the members of that provincial legislative council actually elected the representatives of constituent assembly. So we did not direct choose our members of constituent assembly. Okay, we have already elected the representatives of provincial legislative council. Yes, and our role finished at that time, and the members, the representatives of legislative council, they further elected, or we can say selected the members of constituent assembly. Yes, and they were chosen from different parts of the country. Yes, so we can say in constituent assembly it was such a body which represented the different sections of the society, the different parts of the society. Yes, so in this way we can say that all Indians, the representatives of all Indians, they just formulated the constitution of India. So no one can arroge question over the rules that were written in the constitution, because the representatives of all Indians, they made the constitution. Yes, now we are going to discuss that at that time 389 members were elected as representatives of Indian people in the Constituent Assembly. Okay, so 389 members were in the Constituent Assembly. Yes, and very important leaders were and lawyers also were in the body in the Constituent Assembly. We all know the leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Bhimrao Ambedkar, yes, Baldev Singh. There were many eminent, prominent leaders were the part of Constituent Assembly. 30 representatives were also represented the weaker sections like scheduled caste, SC and ST. Yes, so the representatives of weaker sections also were the members of Constituent Assembly. In this way we can say. Yes, one Anglo-Indian, his name was Frank Anthony, and one Dr. H.P. Modi, who was a person from Parsi community. Yes, and women were also elected as the representative of Constituent Assembly like Sarojini Naidu, Vijaya Lakshmi Pandit. So in this way we can say that from all sections, from women also represented, SC, ST also represented in the Constituent Assembly, and many important leaders from different parts of India were just elected as the members of Constituent Assembly. So in this way it comprised whole India, we can say. Yes. Next thing is that the Constituent Assembly's first meeting, the first session was held on 9th December 1946. It is very, very important. After the formation of Constituent Assembly, after the election of Constituent Assembly in July 1946, in which 389 members were elected from different parts of the India, yes, and then its first session, its first meeting was held on 9 December 1946. Yes, so and in the second sitting of Constituent Assembly, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was chosen as the chairman of Constituent Assembly. So it is very important question that who was the chairman of Constituent Assembly. So Rajendra Prasad, in second sitting of the session of Constituent Assembly, he was just elected as chairman of Constituent Assembly. Yes. Next thing is that the Muslim League, there was Congress, one party, National Party at that time Congress, and there was one more party, Muslim League. Okay, so Muslim League did not participate in the election. They wanted separate Constituent Assembly. Yes, and the Britishers just agreed with the demand of Muslim League. Okay, and on July 1947, the proposal for separate Constituent Assembly by Muslim League was accepted by the Britishers, and in this way, for the formation of a separate nation, that was Pakistan, we can say just came into existence. The Britishers gave its approval for the making of a separate nation of Pakistan. Yes, so in this way we can say Britishers divided our country. Yes, India, one Constituent Assembly for and one constitution for India, and one Constituent Assembly and constitution for Pakistan. Yes, and we all know that on 14th August 1947, Pakistan was first got independence, and we got independence on 15th August 1947. So in this way, two countries were formed. Yes, and both these countries now have its their own constitution. Okay, and in this way we saw that how Constituent Assembly framed the constitution for India also, and a separate Constituent Assembly also framed a constitution for Pakistan also. So in this way our constitution came into existence, and Constituent Assembly played an important role, and the whole Indians, we can say, they participated in making the constitution of our country. That's why we all believe on our constitution, because we all just participated, yes, on the behalf of us. We elected our representatives from different parts of the country. So that's why we have a great faith in our constitution. Yes, we can say that it is a holy book of our country. Hindus, their holy book is, yes, Ramayana, Mahabharata and Gita. Muslims, Quran, Christians, Bible. Okay, but we all different religious people have full faith in our constitution. Okay, so in this way we can say that this is a holy book, and which is made for everyone. It rules does not differentiate among the people on the basis of caste, religion and etc. Yes, so it is accepted by everyone in our country. Yes, so in this way we have just finished the today's topic. In the next topic we will discuss the rest topics. Till then, thank you, goodbye.